So, you have a play for me?
Yes, ma'am, I do. It's going to be called Moriah Missing.
And what's it about?
I already told you.
What?
The play is about someone called Moriah, who is missing,
Yeah?
and that's about it.
Well, okay then, so what are the characters like?
Well, we have our main protagonist, Moriah.
I thought the whole point was that she was missing. Doesn't that mean we don't really see her?
Oh, no, she's in literally every scene.
Oh, wow.
Then we have our three flatmates, Jameson, Jackson, and Mackenzie.
The flatmates are called Jameson, Jackson, and Mackenzie.
That's right.
They don't have first names.
Oh, no, those are their first names. Probably.
Well, if you're sure.
And people call Mackenzie all sorts of shortened versions of her name, like Kenzie, or Kens, or Ken. By the end of the play, they'll just be calling her K.
And what's Mackenzie's deal?
Well, she's the wild partying type.
Sounds pretty cool.
And she takes a whole load of drugs and is just the most suicidal character in a cast of very suicidal characters.
Oh wow, that's pretty dark.
Yeah.
You sound kind of into that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm just going to arrange a welfare check for you. So what about Jameson and Jackson?
Well, Jameson is a poet who has very strong views on how you should be free to sleep with whoever you like, even if you're in a committed relationship. And he mostly goes back and forth between ranting about that and doing improvised slam poetry.
That sounds a little obnoxious.
No, he's going to be everyone's favourite character.
Don't you do a lot of slam poetry? Is Jameson just you?
And Jameson is in a relationship with Moriah.
Right, so the whole bit about sleeping with other people, that's him justifying the fact that he's cheating on her.
I don't know if he is, it's never brought up.
Well, that seems like a missed opportunity.
And throughout the play, he's going to try and work the phrase cello leg into a poem.
What? Why?
Well, he knew a man who got stabbed in the leg with a cello, so he wants to work that into a poem.
Is that going to be relevant?
Well, it'll certainly seem that way. We're going to lean right into the cello thing. For example, the club they go to the night Moriah went missing is called Cielo, which incidentally is Spanish for heaven. And anytime something ominous happens, we're going to play cello music.
It's sounding like Jameson killed Moriah. Possibly with a cello.
No.
Is that what happened though? Did he stab Moriah with a cello and now she's in heaven?
No.
And Jackson?
He likes sex.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's it.
And there's also a character called Casper Lee who turns up from time to time. And he sells drugs, and in the first act, we're going to heavily imply that he killed Moriah, and then just never address that again.
Well, okay then. So what actually happens in this thing?
Well, Mackenzie, Jameson and Jackson wake up in their flat one day after a wild night out, and realise their friend Moriah is missing.
Hey, that's the name of the play.
It sure is. So they're going to spend the day trying to work out what happened to Moriah, and we're going to keep cutting back to the night before when they're at the club, but only show vague sequences in really out of context ways so that it looks like something completely different to what actually happened.
Oh, so we do see them at this club. Full disclosure, we only have budget for one set, and if we're doing the flat, we can't really do a club too. Is that going to make things difficult?
No, it's going to be super easy, barely an inconvenience.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'll just turn the lights down really low so you can't see the flat and then play some disco music. No one will know the difference.
Well, great.
And I've written in the script that the club serves all their drinks in mugs, so we can use the same mugs from the flat set in the club scenes.
I mean, we can afford glasses, we're not that stretched.
I know, but I really want these mugs to be prominent in the play. The friends realise Moriah's missing at first from seeing her mugs untouched, and from there the mugs are in every single scene. I've even written into the stage directions where the mugs are at any given time.
Oh right, so these mugs are going to be an important plot device.
Not even. They're not relevant to the story in the slightest.
Oh, extraneous focus on mugs is tight.
Yeah, and I was thinking for the scenes where we see the gang going back and forth between locations, we could just have them walk on the spot and have lights move over them as if they are moving.
I feel like that would look really bad.
Okay then, so how about I just have them walk round and round the set in a sort of figure of 8?
Somehow that sounds worse, but yeah, fine.
And so all through the first act we see little snippets of the night out. We see Moriah seemingly leave with Casper, and then in the next scene she's bleeding and her dress is ripped, and then we see how they all first met in the flat, and then another scene from earlier in the night before she tore her dress, and then we see her with blood on her and a torn dress.
Hey, it sounds like the actress who plays Moriah is going to have to be in and out of makeup and wardrobe a lot if we keep going back and forth between different outfits and torn and not torn versions of outfits and blood sometimes. You know this is a stage play, right? We have to do this in real time.
Maybe we can cast twins to play Moriah.
We have the budget for 5 actors. We're not having 2 people play the character that's meant to be missing the whole time.
Well, I'm sure it'll be fine.
That doesn't really address the problem.
Look, I'm going to need you to get all the way off my back about this whole Moriah's makeup and wardrobe thing.
Oh, okay, let me get off of that thing.
So then the first act ends with Mackenzie receiving a phone call from Moriah telling her she's okay.
But she's not okay.
What are you talking about?
Well, the play is Moriah missing, so clearly she's not going to turn up halfway through. That won't the second act be.
That's crazy talk. We found Moriah. She's back.
Sure.
So then in the second act, we find out that that was a lie. Mackenzie was lying about that.
Oh, what a twist.
And then Moriah comes and sits on the edge of the stage and starts talking to the audience.
Wait, what?
She's just chatting to them. She's like, Moriah missing? That's the name of the play I'm in, but I'm not missing. I'm right here.
What's happening right now?
And she talks directly to one specific audience member and she's like, you see me, don't you? Please help me. Don't let them take me.
Why are you doing this?
And then Casper drags her off the stage, all while she's screaming to that person in the audience for help.
Oh, I hate it.
And yeah, then we go back to the flat. Jameson is still working on his poem.
Hold on, no. What was all that?
It's fine, don't worry about it. We're back in the flat now.
I feel like it's not going to be fine for that one audience member. They're going to be scarred for life.
I don't know what to tell you. That bit's over now. We're back in the flat.
Well, okay then.
And Jameson wants to put something about drowning into his poem and wants to see if his friends think that that's symbolic.
Because that's symbolic for the fact that he drowned Moriah.
No.
Okay, I still think Jameson killed Moriah though.
He totally didn't. Don't you remember we saw Casper looking really scary and threatening earlier?
Right, but you said all those early scenes were deliberately out of context to mislead the audience.
Incidentally, can we have a t-shirt made for Jameson that says Waterfest?
Because he drowned Mariah?
No, I just think it would look neat.
Yeah, sure.
In fact, it would be great if in literally every scene, all the characters are wearing colour-coordinated outfits, just all of them in the same colours as each other at all times.
What? Why?
Because.
That works.
Great! So in the next scene, we see the characters having a little talk. Because they're still worried about Moriah because she was very depressed. And Mackenzie basically says that it's Mariah's own fault that she's depressed. And if it bothered her that much, why does she not just kill herself and save everyone having to deal with her?
Oh my god.
Yeah, and everyone's like, Kenzie, that's not very nice. And she says it's fine because she's depressed too. And Jameson says, then why don't you kill yourself?
Wow, so these are just the worst people.
Then in the next scene, we flash back to Jameson and Moriah trying to work through their feelings. And Jackson comes in completely nude and they just see everything. It's hilarious.
Ow!
You okay there?
Yeah, no, I just got tonal whiplash.
Oh wow. So anyway, Jackson is just fully nude in the apartment.
I don't know if we'll be allowed to show that on stage.
It's fine, we'll just keep all the naughty bits out of frame.
Oh, I think you just forgot this is a play. There is no frame.
Well then, he'll be stood behind a sofa, so that'll hide it from view.
What about the people way off to the sides of the stalls, or in the higher seats, or the dress circle? Won't they be able to see over or around the sofa? You forgot this was on stage again, didn't you?
Oh, whoops.
Whoopsie.
Anyway, then we finally learn what happened. Mackenzie and Jackson went to a second party with Moriah, and Moriah brought Casper to provide him with drugs so that Mackenzie could teach her how to do drugs.
If Mackenzie and Jackson went to the party with Moriah, would they not have known about that from the start?
No, they only just remember this at the end.
Oh, very selective amnesia.
That's what we're going with. And Jameson took too many drugs before the second party, so he just went home.
So all that weird subtle hinting that Jameson was guilty, that was just nothing.
I told you. Also, we learned that Mackenzie was pregnant but had an abortion.
Does that affect plot?
Unclear. And yeah, they went to the party and Mackenzie showed her how to take drugs and that's what happened.
Wow. So where was Moriah in the end? Why did she go missing?
I don't know.
Fair enough.
So yeah, what do you think?
Well, I'm not sure about the ending. It doesn't seem to explain very much.
Oh no, that's not the ending.
It's not.
No, there isn't an ending. I haven't written it yet.
Wait, you're pitching this and you've not even finished writing it?
I sure am.
Well, I'm sure it'll be finished soon.
Don't you just love it when a play tells you the whole story in the title?
What do you mean?
Like, Moriah missing, you know? Where did she go? I don't know.